So the AI tail gunners in this game were pretty much driving me crazy. I spent a couple of hours trying to see how I could beat them, and the short story is there is no real way to beat them reliably to fight them toe to toe. So the best way to really approach a bomber is by coming at them from a blind spot. And we're going to go through all allied bombers and find their blind spots so you don't get tagged. So this is the PE2 Series 35, and I'm moving the turret around. Keep in mind that both series have the exact same tail gunner, unless you get the upgraded turret. This is starboard side, and the key thing here is when I go to come down to port side, I cannot see past my vertical stabilizer, but I can on starboard. So that's the blind spot, is from port side, slightly above altitude. Rear 6, you're going to get hosed. Now, the belly gunner has the opposite story, and after my initial struggling here of trying to open and close this belly gunner, you'll see that on starboard side versus the port side, there's a lot less visibility on the starboard side. So the story is, again, the opposite from the belly. You want to come from the starboard side. Now, this is best illustrated in this diagram, where the red is the tail gunner and the orange is the belly gunner. And you do not want to be flying in these areas when approaching the PE2. A high angle from directly above or the sides are obviously the best way to go about it, but you don't really get that option. So with this information, life should be a little bit easier. Now let's transition into the PE2s, the later series, with the upgraded turret. Now this thing is pretty much a monster, and once you see the field of vision, this is going to explain basically why you're getting destroyed by this thing. You can actually see past the wings, and you have great field of vision high. Because of the tail structure of the PE2, there isn't a huge vertical stabilizer, just two smaller ones. So you can pretty much see anything. There is no weak spot from Dead 6. Now, the story is the same with the belly gunner, where you have more visibility on port side than you do on starboard. And here's the same illustration. And this basically means that you pretty much never want to attack this later PE2 series from any position from the 6 o'clock, unless you're coming at a very steep angle from high above or low from the sides. You're pretty much in trouble. And if you look at the IL-2 forums, you look at Reddit, people pretty much trade horror stories about this PE2 series, and it's only because of the upgraded turret. So if you're an Axis player, you now know what to do. If you're an Allied player, take the turret upgrade. It's only, I think, a 5 kph penalty. So these are the ones I found the most interesting. The next two planes are the IL-2 and the A20, and here's the IL-2. And I'm going to keep these rather short because I don't think they're as interesting, but basically you have a pretty good field of vision. You can't see past the wings like you can with the upgraded turret too, but you have pretty good vision. The key thing here is you basically cannot see Dead 6. So if you are trying to attack this aircraft, you basically want to come straight behind and hide behind the vertical stabilizer. It's quite large and actually pretty thick. Or just come from dead low and there's no chance for this plane. And here's the A20. Like the PE2, it actually has two gunners. Unlike the PE2, it has a very large vertical stabilizer, and the tail gunner actually sits quite low in this aircraft. Pretty good vision, except for the Dead 6. And because you're sitting so low, you're not going to be able to really see much. I actually was kind of impressed with this tail gunner. He actually has an optic, which I thought was actually kind of neat. But this vertical stabilizer is so large that it's actually kind of hard to shoot at. Now, there's a belly gunner on this aircraft. For a human player, it actually might be pretty hard to use. And for an AI, you can see that the field of view is actually pretty narrow. So if you come at it from the sides, from below, you're going to tear this thing up. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I personally found it surprising once I started experimenting. So if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.